Okay, good morning, everyone. Great to see all of you. I hope that you had a nice weekend and good start to the week so far. I'm going to do two Rashis today, actually, as per Donna's suggestion last week. Since it's Monday, we were supposed to do a Rashi from Shani, but since we missed Sunday, we'll do two Rashis today. We'll do a short Rashi from Rishon and a short Rashi from Shani and Parshas Toldos. It's actually very hard for me to choose. Many of my favorite Rashis are in the first Aliyah of this Parsha. Many beautiful Rashis, some challenging, complicated Rashis. Mentioned one complicated one in Mechamarav yesterday, which a little bit difficult to understand and got many interesting responses from people. But I want to point out a simpler one today, just for the sake of pointing it out. Never hurts to review very important and famous Rashis. So in the beginning of the Parsha, we're told about the lineage, so to speak, of Yitzchak. Ela Toldos Yitzchak ben Avraham, Avram Holidas Yitzchak. Vahi Yitzchak ben 40 shana bekachtos, Rivka bas Besuel ha'arami mi Padan Aram achos Lavan ha'arami lo liisha. We're told about Yitzchak's lineage again, and as a preamble to the fact that the Torah wants to tell us his Toldos, not only his offspring in terms of children, but his life accomplishments and anything else that happens as the story of his life unfolds. But the most important part of the story of his life unfolding is, of course, his marriage to Rivka. And so the Torah tells us again about the lineage of Rivka. And the Torah does so in great detail. It says he took as Rivka, Bas Besuel, the daughter of Besuel, Ha'arami, describing him as Ha'arami, Mi Padan Aram, who came from Padan Aram, Achos Lavan, who's the sister of Lavan. So three descriptors here about Rivka. Rivka, who's the daughter of Besuel Ha'arami, she's from Padan Aram, and she's Achos Lavan, she's the sister of Lavan. We know all this about her already. We know this from the previous psukim. We know this because of Eliezer's descent in Chai Sarah to find a wife. We know about their encounter at the well. We know about him going back to the home of Besuel, of Lavan. He encountered all these figures before. We know exactly who she is. Not only do we know who she is by inference, we know who she is explicitly and by great, great detail. And so it seems utterly superfluous in our pasuk for the Torah to tell us who she is, and to tell us who she is in such great detail. And therefore, Chazal deduced from that, quoted here by Rashi, that the whole purpose of citing her lineage over here is lahagid shivacha, is to sing her praises. Why? Shahaisa bas Rasha, because she was the daughter of a Rasha, the achos Rasha, and the sister of a Rasha, umekoma anshe Rasha, and the place she came from, there were bad people all around, and nevertheless, lo lamda mima'asehem. All we know about Rivka so far is her incredible piety, her incredible chesed, her incredible midos, her incredible values, all of which Eliezer sees in half an instant and knows that she's right. And Yitzchak sees in half an instant and knows that she's right. And then is confirmed by the fact, all of this, in Chai Sarah, all of this is confirmed by the fact that Yitzchak takes her into Sarah's tent. And according to Chazal, all the miracles return. But even according to the plain meaning of the pasuk, Vayinachem, Yitzchak has nechama from the fact that he's married to Rivka, in light of the fact that he's still mourning the loss of his mother Sarah, showing us that she is a person of great stature, of great quality. And so all of this is confirmed in this pasuk, where it reiterates her entire lineage to tell us she is an incredible person who didn't learn from any of the traits of those surrounded her, not her father, not her brother, not the people of her town, nothing. I think it's a beautiful Rashi on two levels. Number one, it really reinforces to us the purpose of this pasuk, which is a glaring question that should jump out at everybody about why it goes into such great detail about who she is. It seems entirely superfluous. Sometimes we have a chazal to pick up on a superfluous vav or superfluous word or superfluous angle to the pasuk. This is an entirely superfluous pasuk, and so it screams for an explanation. Chazal give it this beautiful explanation, which is consistent with all the psukim and all the stories that we know up until now. So that's number one level of beauty in terms of this Rashi. But level two beauty is just the message that it contains about the hopefulness that a person can always transcend their environment. And that's not something simple. It's not something simple in the realities of life. We know that. It's not always so pashut to be able to do that. Even from an emotional, psychological perspective, it's not so simple that a person can necessarily overcome. But Chazal were very clear that, you don't always see how, you don't always see why, and it doesn't always come to fruition. But deep, deep down, we understand and we hope that a person can overcome whatever it is that came before them in life, whether that's their environment or their own particular actions. The whole idea of tshuva, the whole idea of transcendence and of change is such a hopeful perspective on humanity that we're never doomed to repeat the mistakes of our past. We're never doomed to repeat the mistakes of our own lives. We're never doomed to stoop down to the level of those who are around us or those who are the biggest influences on our lives. We may make mistakes, but we can always overcome those mistakes and do better. And that's a very hopeful perspective on humanity, very optimistic perspective on humanity, one that I think should be encouraging to us, especially in our current environment, all the complexities of life that we face, that we should have a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism about where humanity is headed. So that's a Rashi on the first Aliyah. I can't let the second Aliyah go by because it is Monday, so we'll do one more Rashi over here. In the second Aliyah, we see Yitzchak go down to Grar and to encounter Avimelech, and he repeats the same unfortunate story as his father and everything that ensues from there. But after Avimelech lets him go, we see a very beautiful pasuk which describes his success in the land. The pasuk tells us, let me just find it over here, Vayizra Yitzchak ba'aretz hahi vayimtza b'shana hahi mea sha'arim vayivarcheu Hashem. After the whole incident with Avimelech, and Avimelech makes a certain kind of deal, a certain kind of treaty with him and allows him to continue to flourish in the land, he flourishes incredibly. And it says that he seeded in the land, he put seeds in the land, and he found in that year, Mea Sha'arim, 100 gates, meaning 100-fold success beyond what he ever imagined. There's something that Rashi points out on this pasuk, which is also another piece that I thought fit well with our Rashi from yesterday, which I just finished, which is the superfluous words in this pasuk. Vayizra Yitzchak ba'aretz hahi, vayimtza b'shana hahi. To jump out at you just, in a second, notice that hahi is repeated twice in this pasuk. The reason hahi is repeated twice in this pasuk is because it's not just saying that Yitzchak sowed seeds and he was greatly successful, but he sowed seeds ba'aretz hahi, in that land, bashanahi, in that year. The hahi is supposed to jump out at you. It's supposed to be a repetitive word. Comes again, to highlight for you the twofold nature of the description of his zriya, his planting of these seeds in the land. And Rashi tells us over here that the reason for that is ba'aretz hahi, afa b'she'ena chashuva k'shar Eretz Yisrael, and bashanahi, which is afa b'she'ena ketikuna shahaita shnas ra'avon. The reason for the repetition of those words and the descriptions, bashanahi, ba'artei, those things are obvious. We know it's in that year, right? That's obvious. It's telling us he's doing it right now. And we know it's in that land. It's obvious. He's in that land. Vayashav Yisrael, Vayishav Yitzchak Bigrar. We know he's living right there. So why does it have to tell us in that land, in that year, he found 100-fold blessing? And Rashi points out that the superfluous nature of that, which is highlighted to us by the repetition of hahi, is meant to teach us again that Yitzchak overcame, with the help of Hashem, all obstacles. It was a bad year for planting because it was Shnas Rav, and it was a bad land because it wasn't as blessed as the actual physical land of Eretz Yisrael, where the 7 nations were living, even though this is considered part of Eretz Yisrael. That's why Yitzchak was able to go there, even though he was forbidden from leaving the land. So for those 2 obstacles were overcome by Yitzchak, making his blessing even greater. Again, very hopeful perspective here that with the help of Hashem, we can understand that a person is capable of overcoming all challenges, not only like Rivka, challenges of her environment, but like Yitzchak as well over here, the challenges of a physical environment as well, of a year that's not so prosperous, of a land that's not so prosperous. Hashem can still help us to receive and to achieve much blessing in our lives. 2 hopeful Rashis. And I hope with those hopeful Rashis that we'll have a little bit of an optimistic week, a week filled with blessing for ourselves as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.